tonight is Dale Georg Lytle of the now iconic band Angelas. From We're No Angels in 1984 to On My Way in 2023, Dale has been rocking us with over 15 albums, has been putting out hits on the SMR rock charts the past couple of years, reaching number 24 with Band Plays On, and currently in the top 20 with their recent song, On My Way. Dale, welcome to the show. I can't thank you enough for being here. How you doing?
Oh, thank you for having me. Doing great. It's
Hey,
beautiful here in Ohio today. We're in Northeast Ohio Alliance, and it's like almost 80 degrees. Beautiful day here.
isn't it crazy? I'm just north of Toronto, and same
Yeah,
thing. Like it's. I mean, the conversion here is Celsius 27, so just about the same type of weather. Incredible for April, eh?
it is. Yeah, beautiful.
We were breaking records that are like 20 years old, Dale. So you're
uh,
coming to us from Ohio. You just stationary right now? You playing a lot in Ohio, or?
we got a show coming up next weekend or this weekend at a place called Maple Grove, which is pretty cool. And we just got back from Virginia and North Carolina,
Oh,
and
right on.
and then we're setting up some shows. We got one on July 15th at the Summerfest out here, and we're going to be going to, it looks like maybe Indiana, and we're setting it up as a last minute deal. So we're trying to get some shows booked on the way down to Texas and Austin, Houston, and San Antonio at the Metal Fest.
I guess that's what you mean when you say we're on our way, then, eh? All
We're on
these.
the way. We're coming in.
You hear that, fans? He's on his way. Look,
Yeah.
Dale, man, you've been kicking some rock and roll ass for like 5 decades almost, eh? Like I'm surprised you haven't written a song called "The Rock and Roll Fountain of Youth" the way you're going, eh?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, why not? Yeah. I just figure,
Hey,
why stop? I can't stop. What else am I going to do? It's like, uh, this is my life. It always has been. And you just got to keep going. It's like once you throw in the towel and stop, I think you just roll over and die. And I'm not ready to do that.
what
I
what
love
keeps you
rock and
going? Like what's the secret that you like? How do you love it so much still after all this time?
roll. I hate to rehearse, to be honest, I hate rehearsing, but I love to, when it's a good rehearsal, it's great. And they usually are, but I just like to pick up the guitar, and I always have it next to me on my couch, and I pick it up, and I make sure I pick it up, and that's usually when I write my stuff. It's right when I pick it up, something just comes down, and my wife Connie will get the camera, and she'll start filming, and so I don't forget, because you forget how it goes, the phrasings, and you can remember the chords or whatever, but you don't get the actual way it is, the feel, and
So you always have your guitar around you?
yeah, constantly, nonstop. Yeah,
It's
everywhere.
like, I've always found that amazing. You have a relationship with the instrument, right? Like,
Yeah, it's my definitely. It's probably my first wife, to be honest. I mean, yeah, I mean, she's been with me since I've been 12 years old. I started playing guitar.
oh, really?
Yeah, and through a lot of hard times in my life, and it just really helped me get through everything, and it still does. There's good times, there's bad times, and it helps get through them. It really
Yeah,
does.
and you share some of that with your songs and your lyrics and the way your presentation on stage and everything, eh? Like you connect with fans that way.
Yeah, it's a great way to talk to the people and relate to them, and share it, like you said. And I love the stage. I'm a ham, if you will. I love to just when you're up there, your job is to give it 120%. You got to give it your all and more. You got to give it everything that you got. But you're there to entertain the people and make them forget about the problems and everything that's going on in the world. And so you just gotta. In my heart, I've never been. I can't do anything other. I have to. I just give it my all, no matter what. There's like my wife says, there's no stopping you. It's like I'm singing and playing now, so it's like I'm. I told her I have to try and find a way to conserve my energy so I can make it through an hour and 15 minutes or whatever. And I just can't. I can't do it. I can't do it. I mean, I come off the stage. just soaking wet, you know. I just like can't hold back. He's got it's not in me.
You
Not,
give it everything. So Dale, you know what? A question that comes up, you know, sometimes different venues, you know, as fans come and fans go, you may be playing to a larger audience some nights and then a smaller audience. Does that matter to you? Does it matter who's in the crowd or how many people are in the crowd? Or do you just play the way Dale plays no matter who's there?
you know, it does affect you sometimes. It depends on your mindset, but you try and just deliver because you don't, you know, if there's one, five, 100, 1,000, 20,000 people, you want to put on the best show every night you can. Even at rehearsal, I mean, our bass player, Bill Wildman, he'll come over and he'll bring somebody new all the time. A girl, he's got a different girl every time he comes over for rehearsal. And, you know, it really helps you kind of get through a rehearsal. And you end up giving more and putting out more. Even one person makes a difference. So, you know, that said, I mean, if you're playing to the bartender, you know, what the hell? You want to make a good impression on them. You know, you want to entertain them. You know,
Yeah.
that's all. That's what I'm there for. That's my
So,
job. I'm an entertainer.
Dale, fans of Angela's will already know that you've gone through a variety of members. You mentioned Bill, right? So
Yeah.
you've gone through a variety of members over the years, and I'd like to talk about that for a moment. With so many changes, how have you maintained your vision for what you wanted Angela's to be, or is it really just a matter of adapting your style over time?
You know, once I actually left California, August of last year, and no, the year before. Wow, time flies. Um, and we ended up buying a house in Missouri, and I was there for a while. And you know, there's a lot more colder days, and there's snow and everything, and you're bound up, more bound up, and not so much outside activity. Um, I decided at that point to start singing, and that's when I started doing it and learning how to play the songs like Helen I Hill and Pain and you know the numerous songs of Trouble and all these songs that we have and a little bit faster and you know all these ones and to learn how to play them and sing them at the same time, running like an outlaw. They were a little tough at first, but and Nothing But Love. I mean that was a real tough one as well. And you know I just really focused on that, and I spent weeks on a song, and I'd spend a couple days, and then go to another one, and then go back to it. I kept doing it, but that was a process, learning how to sing and play, and then memorizing all the lyrics. And it's like honestly, just until recently that I've been able to like I don't have an iPad no more at rehearsals. My wife called it weaning me off the bottom, basically, you know. And you know, it's like there's a lot of lyrics to remember, but it's so funny. It's like I'll be laying there in bed and these lyrics to Witch Hunter or Rolling Like Thunder, they'll be going through my head. You know, it's like I'll be singing them, and if I have a mental block on a word, I'll ask my wife or you know, and it's like I don't need to pull out the lyrics anymore. You know, if I having a problem remembering the band plays on or whatever it might be, and I just run it through my head, and I'm getting it. You know, it's been a process, but I'm almost. I feel like I'm about 95% there, if not a little bit more. But it's really cool. I really enjoy it a lot.
So you've transitioned Dale George Lytle you've morphed him into something new, but
Yeah.
you've maintained the brand of Angela's the band while you've
Yes.
done it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Dale,
There's no changes. You know, it's I feel honestly, I sing the songs a lot more from the heart and with a lot more feeling and aggression, and it pounds, you know,
it does.
and
Yeah.
I drive it home. Whereas some of the other singers kind of just were getting through it, going through the set, if you will. And it's like I don't know if there's not a lot of people, you got to find the right person. If you do, they're already doing their own thing, you know. So I like it. It's like this is like boom, you know, that kind of type of thing. It's all in the delivery, you know. And
Dale, how did you
who better to deliver it than me? Because I know what it's about. I know what it's for, you know?
how did you bring in new members and have them get into what Angela's is? How did that
Well,
happen?
you know, it's we had a kid for a while, and he had to go to school and learn. He wanted to get into heating and plumbing and that kind of thing. So I got Danny back. He's been with us for 7 years, and he went through some health issues and things like that, and he got him taken care of, and now he's back on board. And it's great having him. I mean, we've done uh, 6 albums together,
Wow.
you know, and I've known him my whole life, basically, since I've been in my early 20s. And and then we got this Bill on bass, Bill Wadman, and he's really just a great guy. And he's just clicking really well with us. He's kind of, I'm not having to do what you're saying. He's kind of coming into our field, you know,
Right.
he's like seeing where we're coming from, and he's molding into us. And so it kind of makes it real easy.
I think it's phenomenal. You know, like we see it in sports all the time where you have a jersey, right? You have a team and everybody puts on that jersey and they become part of that team. And you're doing that. You're doing that with your band. Like, you know, the guy shows up, puts on the Angela's emblem and they adapt and they learn and they become part of the band.
Yeah.
Um, do you think your fans are different in 2023 versus 1984?
You know, that's really a good question. I mean, you know, we were all a lot, they're all, everyone's a lot older now. The age difference is definitely a big factor. But the love is still there, and we've got a lot of people that go way back to 84 as well, and even earlier than that. I mean, we've got fans that have been following us now since 76, 77, and they're still there. And you know, it's I we have a lot of great fans, a lot of great people, and they're friends as well. So many are friends. They're really uh you know, a lot of private messaging and things like that. And you know, they've become friends over the years, so many of them. And so they're
When I look at what's going on though with your new music and online and your social media, it looks your fan some of the fans I'm seeing there don't look old though, Dale. They look like young and you're attracting another generation of fans
yeah,
with your
that's
music.
true. That's
Yeah,
true. You got a really good point.
yeah.
That's very true.
Dale,
Yeah.
I've heard you say a few times in some interviews and some other things that if you could have done something different, and we're talking about you mentioned the 70s and we're talking 80s, if you could have done something different in your music career, you would have made some different decisions when it came to your producer when maybe you were starting out. Is that hindsight or regret? And what would we have heard from Angela's that would be different if you had gone a different direction, producer wise?
Ah, you know, that's a tough one. I mean, I don't know if it would have went in a different direction. I put out what I do, and I do what I do, and I don't think there would be any difference or any changing of anything. I think the direction would still be there. Um, I'm not one to be molded very well. I've got my own thing. I write my own songs. I write my own music, and that's just the layout that it has been from the very beginning. Um, I didn't have a place to have a record player, so I couldn't learn other people's music. So I always had to write my own stuff. And I lost my mom when I was 19, and I had no father. And so I lived wherever we rehearsed. You know, that was wherever we rehearsed, that's where I lived. And so I had to write my own stuff. I've had like one or two records in my whole lifetime. So as far as producers, I don't think we got the right one with Michael Lloyd. He was the wrong guy. He had never had produced a rock band before, and we weren't supposed to drink, cuss, you know, smoke pot, do nothing. And you know, we're there and we're doing it all. We're doing everything. And Eve's like, you know, he had done you know, Donnie and Marie Osmond, Leif Garrett, Sean Cassidy, Pat Boone, Debbie Boone, you know, all these, you know, bubblegum artists, if you will. And he's great producer. He's done a lot of movies. Very made it very well. I mean, the guy's very successful, but he wasn't the right guy for us. I wish we would have got Roy Thomas Baker at the time. You know, it would have been fantastic for someone in that realm. I ended up taking what Michael was going to do and did it myself. So I produced every album since the very first one, War No Angels.
Wow.
I produced every record. And
You got your hand on, you know, you got your finger on the pulse though of the whole experience then, right?
yeah, I mean, when I'm in the studio, I can't leave. I've got to be there from, you know, the first minute in to the last second out, and mixing, you name it. I've got my fingers. It's a baby. It's your baby. It's your child. Each song is a new child. Each album is the mothership of a compilation of songs. You know, that's what it is. I mean, it's every single step. And I'm the father. I'm not the mother, but I'm the father of these songs. And yeah, I've been hands on from the second in to the second out of everything.
It's
and I've been,
it's
go ahead.
inspiring. It's inspiring to hear your passion that you have for this, and how much the songs mean to you and how much your music means to you. You know, if there's any young artists listening, you know, this is for the love. Like I'm getting, you're giving me music love goosebumps as I'm listening to you talk about the music and what you put into it, Dale.
It really is. I mean,
yeah,
you gotta have the love. If you don't have the love for what you're doing 1,000,000,000%, you should just stop. And that's why, going back to one of your first questions on what keeps me going, it's the love. It's the love that I have for it. I mean, I can't wait to get in and start writing the new record that we're working on. I've got the music for. I've got hundreds of albums worth of music I could put out right now, but I don't have the time in my life to do it. I've got to come back again sometime. The Rhyme and Reason is our forthcoming record that I'm working on right now, and it's really got some really cool shit in it. It's going to be a great record.
Really right on. Record. We're gonna talk a little bit about that. Maybe we can pull some more information out of you on that one. But look at over the years, you've played alongside some iconic other iconic bands, right? Talk about love and longevity and passion, right? You played alongside folks like Motley Crue, Rat, Great White, GNR, Metallica, Quiet Riot, Bon Jovi. Like you got a long list of folks that you've mingled with, right? Out of all of that stuff, out of all those bands and people you played with, who compliments Angela's the most? If you look back, what band compliments you guys the most?
You know, we played with Ronnie James Dio, and honestly, he's a lot of fun. You know, for the most part, I've never or hardly have watched any of the bands we've ever played with. I mean, I've always been the one to stay in the room until it was my turn, stay in the corner, be warming up, practicing. So honestly, I have not watched hardly anybody we played with. I saw John Bon Jovi at the country club when we played with him, and it was at sound check. And he had his scarf and his long coat and his hat, if I remember right. I know he had a scarf, but I'm not sure about the other stuff. But I didn't see him play. Motley Crue, we played, the Motley Crue played, then we played, the Motley Crue played. I didn't watch them that night. You know, I hear it from the fans that'll come in the dressing room and say, oh, this band's good, or that band's good, or they're no good. And I can kind of get the feel from the dressing room, whether they're cool or not, you know, if you will. And I mean, we played a lot with Jack Russell, not with Rick White, but with Jack. And he's really cool. He's, you know, the last time we played with him was in LA. and I ran into him backstage, and he was walking on to the stage, and I almost knocked him over. And he's uses a cane now, and he, and then Y&T, they're great guys. I can just tell you who's great. Robbie Krieger from the Doors, just a magnificent person. Rat. I mean, it was kind of always kind of a battle, and Quiet Riot was a battle. That's how our first album was named. Kevin was standing at the Troubadour, and I walked in, and he was a tall guy, taller than me, probably 6 something. And I'm 5'10", and he goes, "Oh, it's the Angels again." We played a lot together, and I looked up at him and I said, "We're no effing Angels." And so I told that story to somebody back at the studio where I was living. I was living at the recording studio while we were recording it. And it was this guy, Jim, that actually advised McDonald's to have breakfast. So this guy was like an inventor, if you will, or a suggestor to people. He would make suggestions, and he goes, "That's what you should call your album." And so that's why. So inadvertently, Kevin DeBro named our first record. And but who's my favorite? I mean, it's like, I don't know. We've played with so many bands. I could just tell you who's been, nice or haven't been nice. And I told you who's been nice. Dio he used to give me, I ended up getting a place to live when I was living at the studio. And this girl, her mom let me live in their house in a real nice place in off of Tampa in Northridge. And I lived there for a while. Ronnie would drive me home. He had a red 450 SL, and it was a 78, and his radio didn't work. And I remember asking him why his radio didn't work, and he said the last thing he wants to do when he, gets in a car or he's done is listen to music. And since then, it's really stuck. I don't listen to anybody else's music. I don't listen to music. Only if I listen to something, like we get done recording it, and I'm listening to the mixes of a song, like on my way or band plays on or anything of any of the records, we'll do a thing called looping, and we'll play it over and over and over and over once it's done. And because you go through so much of going in and laying down the tracks and overdubbings and getting the vocals and waiting for it to all, be mixed down. And when you think it's done, then you can enjoy it to the point we listen to it so much that it gets to the point where after that goes by, I rarely ever listen to the song again. Rarely. It's on to the next one. So that's a kind of an interesting thing that I guess I just threw in.
Dale, you said, before you're going on stage, you're kind of doing your own thing. You're with your guitar, you're playing stuff out. What's going on? What are you thinking about, like, before you're going on and you're with your guitar? Is there
really nervous?
Is there a process, or?
I get very nervous. I have really bad anxiety. I just take it out on my guitar, and I really get introverted. I don't talk to anybody. It's like I don't know. It's a weird state of mind. And then when it's time for the stage, it's just like, bam, the lights go on, and it's time. And it's that hour before that's the worst. Even in interviews, even before with you, the last hour of waiting for this, I'm like, that's why I like to have them earlier in the day. Otherwise, it's sitting around all day, and it's in the back of my head. Oh, you've got this interview, and I know what it's like the hour before that interview, and then a half an hour, then 15 minutes, and it's like, all right, let's get on here, let's get this done, and it's like, once I, get on and get going, it's fine. But waiting for something like, or a show, I try and sleep, I try and just lay down. I mean, I'll try and do whatever I can to keep my mind off of show day or interview day.
Dale, I can relate. I'm the same way. So like,
Yeah,
leading up to the interview, I go through, I make sure everything's prepped. I'm kind of in my zone. I get a
yeah,
little bit nervous, but then once we're on, it's kind of like, all right, I feel good. We're
yeah,
talking, I'm in the zone. So I
yeah.
can listen, different, absolutely different level altogether, because you're a fantastic musician, but I can understand that little bit of anxiety before you go
Oh,
and do what it is that you do.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, there's no joke. It's no joke. It's real.
Dale, with all the years of and tours and
Aggravation.
places you've been, and all the different things you've done, have you had any moments where you go, oh my God, I can't believe we're still alive, or I can't believe we got away with that, or have you had any of those that you'd be able to share with us?
Um, yeah, I think coming home from North Carolina the other day, it was like 2:30 in the morning in the motorhome, and Danny was driving, and we get into Canton, Ohio, and we're all excited, and then it just went into this narrow little. They were doing road work, and there's a big old, it was a bridge, and it was a long way down. And I swear, Danny was like falling asleep. And I'm like, oh my God, Danny, go a little bit to the left because it was just a little bit narrow. It was very narrow. And I'm like, I think I saw my life flash in front of my whole life flash, It was like, oh, I thought we were going to go right into that medium, right into the concrete thing. And he didn't, he made it, but it was just like, okay, time to get off. We got off, and I got in the driver's seat, and I took over from there and got us into Alliance. But that
I guess
was,
you
that was just like, last, on what day? I don't know, Monday or something. What day was that, Connie? I don't know. But I wanted, yeah, that would be one. That's for sure. But it was pretty scary. It was like real late, and we were all tired. We'd been driving quite a while, and I really thought that was going to be, something wasn't going to be good there. But it turned out we got it. Obviously, we're here. No
you
crash, no
you
damage.
must have had a few of those in your career, Dale.
Overall, yeah, yeah, I have. I
Um,
want to give a shout out and kind of Jeffrey, our record company, Jeffrey Swanson, is going through some difficulties right now. He got hurt about 2 months ago, and on the 16th, it'll be 2 months. And I just want to bring him up. Dark Star Records, a great man, and I just want to wish him well and really hope he pulls through. We're all really pulling for him. And the newest update, from what I understand, is he's talking now. He had traumatic brain injury.
oh no.
He's been hit in the head real bad, and so he's we're hoping for the best right now, and we're hoping for a full and speedy recovery as soon as possible. And his best friend since high school, Jenny, just let us know today that he is kind of starting to talk, and he's starting to come around. He's going into rehab. Going to be leaving the hospital, so hopefully things are going to be looking up for him. Real
Yeah, for
soon.
sure.
Yeah,
So our,
great.
our thoughts are going out to Jeffrey Swanson from Dark Star Records.
Absolutely, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks, Dale. Get better, Jeffrey.
yeah.
Right on.
We need you,
Um,
brother. We need you badly. Yep.
the Angela's needs you, and so does Dale,
Yeah,
and so do we. So there we go.
many more. Everyone,
Yeah.
from Conquest to Vante to all the great Voodoo Moonshine, all the great bands on the label, and all the he does horror movies and SGL Entertainment, and yeah, we wish him the best. And yeah,
Right on. With you, Dale. With you.
yeah,
Dale, you mentioned a couple of times the different band members. You've talked about Danny and you talked about Bill. Your current lineup is a trio, it seems. And
yep.
you talked about you've got yourself on guitars, and you've got yourself on the lead vocals. With all the different variations you've had before, what made you go with the trio?
Um, it's just less people to worry about, if you will. You don't have to deal with as many personalities. People, the less is more. Um, because I might get a rhythm guitar player. I've been thinking about doing that, but the time would have to be right. It would have to be the person that would fit into our chemistry well. Um, but right now, it's fine the way it is. It's simple, it's easy, and it's clean. It's like there's nobody with ego trips. There's no, it's just clean. It's clean. It's simple and it's clean. Um, I grew up liking Grand Funk Railroad, and they were a power trio,
Yeah.
and I loved the way they were, Mark Farner and Grand Funk, and Mark's still going, and yeah, I love that. I love the 3-piece cream type thing. That's it. I like it. It's very clean, very efficient, clean, and less personalities. Because every single personality that you bring into a band, that's a whole nother person you're married to, in a way.
Mm.
Um, Bands are like a marriage. You got to really get along. You got to really understand each other. You have to deal with each other a lot, and the more people, the more problems.
Dale, you started talking a little bit about it earlier now that you're doing guitars and your own lead vocals. And you were talking a little bit about the transition, right? Now that you're kind of doing both, it takes a little bit more work. You're doing things, I guess, a little bit different. Do you ever see yourself doing anything different now? Like, are you going to stay lead singer?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've had the singer on the Run Like an Outlaw record, Mason. He wanted to come back, and I absolutely told him no. I'm good. I'm happy. I don't want to ever have that other personality in the band. I just not particularly him. I like all the singers I've had. We're going to be going back to the whiskey and doing a show either at the end of this year or next year, and I do want to invite Claire Diane to come sing a few songs with us.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about having, she was with us for 3 records.
Yeah.
And maybe Gwen for a song or two, if you will. And maybe Daniel to sing God, Country, and King. I think he did a fantastic job on that. But overall, that might be the only time. I would consider maybe having Claire go out with us for a certain amount of songs. I've thought about that. That's a strong possibility. Claire's really cool people, and I really like working with her a lot. We wrote a lot of great stuff together.
Right on. So if you're on the road, fans may see some prior members coming back to do a few spots here and there. It sounds like, Dale.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
no problem with that at all. I would love to do that at some point. Have Lewis Collins come back and sing. What's that? I want to say Celebrate, but there's another song that I really like on that record. Hell and High Heels, but I'm doing that. I like the way, really the way the delivery I present. I like the way I deliver it. Apocalypse. I would like to have them come out and do Apocalypse. I think it's really a cool song, but I don't know if I could quite cut it. I transpose everything down and sing it like in a different,
Different key.
yeah, but yeah, that's about it. Something like that. To bring them back here and there once in a while for a guest appearance to do a song or two. That's about it.
Well, we're gonna look forward to that. Dale, has as whether you've transitioned and you're doing both and this has influenced this or not, has your setup changed over the years in terms of your guitars, your amps, the equipment you're using? Did it change because you're singing, or are you still using everything and your setup's all the same?
No, it's all stayed the same. I
Yeah.
actually went to EVH. Ed made a really great amp, or whoever is all of his people that worked with him on it. But Ed sound, he used that converter, the inverter, the voltage inverter, um, with it made that tightened up the sound on the Marshall heads, and he put it into the amplifiers, and they just have a great sound. I love them a lot. I got a 100 watt and I got a 50 watt, and the 50 sounds as good as 100. They both, and they're both honestly they're both about as loud as each other. I mean, there's not a lot of difference in volume. It's pretty incredible.
Hey, I gotta ask you, Dale. What do you think of what do you think of a tube amp?
They're all tubes. Mine are all tubes.
Oh, so you're using the tubes.
Oh yeah, I'm using tubes.
Oh, right
yeah.
on.
Oh yeah, they're tube amps. Yeah, and a Variac. But I have a Variac. I actually bought one in Sun Valley at Apex Electronics. I think Ed bought his at a place in Pasadena, and to turn down the wattage on the amp because he was playing guitar. He didn't want it to be too loud. It was too loud. He had it cranked up, and I was trying to do the same thing at the same time. And but he came up with the light dimmer switch is what a Variac is, like a military light dimmer switch, and it would bring down the voltage, to like 88, 89 instead of 100, which gave it that real brown sound. And yeah, I never actually used mine. I bought it, but I didn't have enough money at the time to waste. You burn through the tubes, and I couldn't afford to burn through tubes and replace them. I mean, it gets pretty expensive. You can burn through your tubes in a pretty decent in one night show. And you got to buy all new ones. You got to have, everything done to them. And yeah, it's a lot.
They have such a great sound though, the tubes, eh? Like,
oh yeah, I love my EVMs. I love them. I have Marshalls too, but like I said, you'd have to put the Variac on it. Have to have a modified. And Ed and all his technicians came up with a great sounding record amplifier. I'm sorry. And they sound great. They're fantastic sounding amp. I mean, they really are. They kick ass. They're great amplifiers.
So Dale, as we're talking about this stuff, your approach, like, so we talked about equipment, we talked about some of your history and your songs. Your approach to writing music now versus when your music journey started, has that changed? Is who you're writing the music for changed? And I know you said, Guido, I got a bucket full of songs here, and I'm looking at albums, but has any of that changed for you over the years?
Not at all. Not one bit. It's always stayed the same. Yeah, that's a pretty simple question and answer. It's always
true to your sound. You got your formula.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Now, Dale, you mentioned Connie, your wife, and I understand she's part of the process here. She does some video production for you. Is that true?
Yes, she's done all of our videos. She even helped Perry Teo, rest in peace. He just passed away a couple of months ago, and he did the Fired Up video. And Connie actually went in and edited it with him, and they worked on that together. And so she even did that one. And then Gwendolyn had done, I think, Magic. She had done the Magic video. Either Wicked or Wicked. Yeah, she did the Wicked video. But all the other ones Connie's done, and I work with her on them. I'm definitely hands on that too as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does Connie keep you to task though on the video stuff, or you have to answer to her, or what?
I mean, we go out and do the shooting and everything. So yeah, we gotta figure out what we're gonna do beforehand. Yeah, like the airplanes. I was calling around all the airports about a week trying to get an airplane for the On My Way video. And we found the coolest people, man. They were just downright great people. And they were like, there's shots. You can have shots. You can have whatever you want. Do whatever it's your plane. And we're like going, well, okay, this is cool. Yeah. That was in Akron at the Akron airport.
So shout out to Connie for all the video work that she does for you. There you go. Got to make sure that she's part of this.
Oh, yeah. She does so much. She helps us with she helps me with so much of the band and the business and stuff and the calling and you know, this right here. I don't know how to do this Zoom stuff. She does it, you know. She's the one that pushed the button to zero you in, dial you in. I mean,
Hey,
I
right on.
don't know the computer. She emails everybody. She does all that work. I don't do any of it. I sit there and watch cowboy movies, you know.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you, Connie. Thank you. Thank you for helping us out.
Welcome.
Um, so Dale, look, tell us a little bit about your current song, "On My Way." It's a song that you've put out under the Dark Star record label.
Yeah.
What's the song about? Why are fans relating to it? It's been charting. I know it's charting on the Path Radio, and folks are enjoying it. It's in the top 15.
Yeah.
So what's going on there?
Well, you know, it made it to 16 on the MSR chart, rock chart, and it's just a really good, catchy song about all the years of aggravation, and you know, you're finally on your way. It's like it's kind of a celebration of my life, and it's kind of like that's why the airplanes. It's kind of like it's time to take off. It's time to go. You know, and it's happening, and it's really pretty cool. And that's what it's about. It's kind of like, you know, all the years and everything you go through and love affairs and women and I send you a letter, she waits by the phone, you know, we're still together, still so all alone, you know, wipe those tears from your eyes, baby, didn't want to go, all the years of aggravation, now I'm finally on my way, and I
Yeah.
say, you know, and that kind of shit. So yeah.
Yeah, it's got such a great rhythm to the song, though, man. You just belted that out, and I'm like, I want to rock to it. It's such a great rhythm to
Yeah.
that too, man. Yeah,
I love the groove. I want it to be up tempo, happy, and forward. You know, and I think it delivered. I think it delivered. I
it
think it
does, man.
really.
It does. It's a rocking tune.
Yeah,
Dale,
it's
what's
called,
with the airplane? Does the airplane? You picked an airplane. Is the
yeah,
airplane represent something? Does it represent freedom?
taking off, going to the next show, traveling,
Yeah,
um, you know, success. You know,
success. Yeah,
um,
there we go.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was checking out your video, running like an outlaw, and
Oh, that was
you
fun.
know, it makes me I gotta admit something. I want to put on like a do-rag and a leather jacket and I want to ride a motorcycle when I listen to that song, like you just got
Yeah.
some great riffs in there and what was that? Was that a dedication to like a motorcycle club or something or
No, it was just words that we wrote to the song and it just came out and I just got the crazy idea about you know, with the car and the running like an outlaw and looking back and looking, you know, running from the cops and whatever and just I think it's my favorite video.
yeah,
I
it's a
really
rock.
think it is.
I enjoyed
It's
that.
fun.
Dale, do you think you're writing and producing some of the best music of your career right now?
I hope not.
Ah, more to come.
Yes, I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not at my end. I hope I'm just beginning. You know, I hope to put out, you know, as many more records as possible. I love doing it. It's my favorite process is you know, putting out another baby and songs, and each song is a child of a family. It's like an album. It's like I said, like a mothership. And I hope not. I really hope there's plenty more to come. And I tell you, I've got some really great new stuff coming up.
So
So we'll see.
Dale, it's interesting that you say that, right? An album. Um, y- I guess I'm still, and I've said it on other shows that I've been on. I really like taking an album and sort of digesting the album, like that song to song. It almost like it tells a story. I kind of miss the days of just grabbing the album and flipping through the pages or just listening from song to song because we release things out in snippets these days. You see a single come out or a set of a couple of songs. Do you have like a full, like you said, an album? Are you going to put together like 10 songs, 8 songs? Like, do you have an idea of what that's going to look like?
You know, it could be well, next year is the 40th anniversary. So that being said, we're in discussions, or we were until Jeffrey got hurt, on doing a 40th anniversary album with some new stuff as well. So we're kind of working on that, and we're still going to go down that route. I think on the next one is have maybe 4 to 5 new ones and songs from each of the albums over the 40 years.
Right on.
And since our first record, We're No Angels. So that's what we're in discussions on. And without Jeffrey, I don't know how we're gonna do it. You know, I'm just hoping he gets well in time to work with us. The guy's really a genius. He's so fun to work with. He's an amazing, like I said, human being, and as a person, as an artist himself. And we were right in the middle. We just had made an announcement, and then he got hurt with the post about our 40th anniversary. So that's what we're looking for the next record. It's gonna have some new, brand new, and then some of the old.
Are you remastering the classics, or
I don't think we're gonna get into that. I don't think we need to. We might remaster it and once it gets it all together and see
Right.
how it blends. But there could be some of that going on for sure.
Right on, man. So you got the tour, you possibly working on the 40th anniversary album. You got a whole bunch of new songs coming out. We're hoping that Jeffrey gets well so that he can
Absolutely.
help you do that. Dale, before I let you go, is there anything else that you'd like to leave us with today?
You know, Angela's Facebook, just Google Angela. You can find anything. The Wikipedia page, Angela's band, Google Angela's band, and my book, Georg Lytle, the book of Georg Lytle. And everything's on there. Our website, you know, everything you want to know about the band. If you want to know more about us, you can find it on there. And that's it. I just want to wish, you know, Jeffrey gets better, and I want to thank Jody. Thank you so much for taking your time to do this.
Right on, Dale. Hey, we're looking forward to all of it. Look, folks, he's no angel, but Dale Georg Lytle and Angela says we're on our way. Thanks to Dale for coming on the show tonight. I'll have the Angela's social media information that Dale talked about in the show notes. Please come on over to thepathradio.com, have a listen to Angela's, and remember to subscribe to the new YouTube Path Radio channel. Thank you, Dale. Rock on and take care.
Thank you. You rock, brother.